for 5 minutes to question Mr. Agarwal. Mr. Agarwal, historically, vote caging schemes have been used to suppress minority votes. When allegations of vote caging occurred back in 1990, the Department of Justice took swift action, sending the FBI out immediately to investigate. The department filed a federal lawsuit against the Republican Party in, I think it was South Carolina, and the Helms campaign, and obtained declaratory and injunctive relief in the form of a consent judgment and decree. Has the department's position against vote caging changed since 1990?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The department stands ready to investigate any allegations that voters are being discriminated against on the basis of their race.
That wasn't my question. Has the department's position against vote caging changed since 1990?
Congressman, whether any particular set of circumstances constitutes a violation of federal law will depend on the facts and circumstances.
Excuse me, you're evading my question. Does the department still regard what is commonly known as vote caging as depriving people of the right to vote as illegal?
Congressman, with respect, that term vote caging is subject to many meanings. Does
the department regard what it regarded as vote caging in 1990 and got a consent decree against are you still opposed to that?
I am aware of no change in departmental policy
between
1990 and today on that point.
Thank you. There were complaints of vote caging in Florida, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Ohio in 2004. How many vote caging investigations were initiated by the department in response to these complaints?
Again, Congressman, we are vigorously investigating complaints that arose as a result of the 2006 midterm election.
Wait a minute, I asked about 2004.
Fair enough. Congressman, I joined the Civil Rights Division in the summer of 2006. To the extent that there were concerns raised about the 2004 elections, I am confident that my predecessors in the Civil Rights Division...
Were there any prosecutions as a result of vote caging allegations in the 2004 elections?
I am aware of no criminal prosecutions, certainly.
Were there any other kind of prosecutions?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. If not, why not? Well, not if not. Why not?
Well, Congressman, I can tell you that the department has remained vigilant in protecting the voting rights of all Americans.
Well, so you say, but we're trying to investigate whether that's true. There were complaints of vote caging in Florida in 2004 in Florida, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Ohio. You're aware of no prosecutions. Were they investigated? Were these complaints investigated?
Let's take Florida if we can. I can tell you that a member of the a career member of the Civil Rights Division was on the ground in Florida in advance of the 2000 elections, was aware of the caging allegations as you described them, and worked cooperatively with state and local officials and with members of both political parties to ensure that those lists that were created ultimately were not used to challenge voters.
What happened? I mean, there were complaints after the election that they were used, obviously, in Florida, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Ohio. Did the department initiated no prosecutions? Were there reports issued by the department answering these allegations, saying they weren't true or they weren't illegal? I mean, or did those investigations just disappear into the ocean?
Congressman, again, I joined the division in 2006, so I'm not aware specifically.
Can you get to this department? Can you get detailed written answers to these questions to this committee within the next 2 weeks?
I'll be happy to take that back to the department.
Will you commit to getting written responses to this committee in the next 2 weeks? Not to take it back to the department, to get responses.
I will absolutely commit to looking into it during the next 2 weeks.
Will you commit to having a response to this committee within the next 2 weeks?
Congressman,
and the reason I'm being so hard-nosed about this is that our experience is that when we get commitments from the department to respond to us, nothing happens for years. We never get responses.
Congressman, I will commit to providing some type of written response within the next 2 weeks.
Thank you. How do you plan to address complaints of vote caging in the upcoming election cycle?
And we will implement a comprehensive Election Day program, which will include the deployment of hundreds of federal monitors and observers around the country in determining where to deploy those people.
Excuse me, that's Election Day. Do you plan to do anything in advance of Election Day about people or parties or entities or groups or whoever who send out mail to voters in minority communities with instructions to return the mail?
Congressman, during the next 9 months, we will meet regularly, and we have been meeting with state and local election officials, representatives of, for example, the National Association of Secretary of States, with minority groups, and we will listen to their concerns. And if
Okay, thank you. I have one further question, as my time is running out, so let me just ask this quickly. I am increasingly concerned by reports of significant staff turnover within the voting section. As you're aware, we're quickly approaching the 2008 presidential election and the 2010 census, which means there likely will be an upsurge in Section 5 submissions. It's my understanding that of the 25 experienced Section 5 analysts, only 9 now remain. What steps are you taking to ensure that there will be sufficient experienced Section 5 analysts and attorneys to accommodate the increase in Section 5 submissions, which can reasonably be anticipated because of the 2008 election and the 2010 census?
Congressman, we fully intend to have sufficient numbers of trained analysts ready to go after the 2010 census.
What about the 2008 election?
We have sufficient analysts on board today.
9 analysts is sufficient?
Congressman, in 2006, the department was able to analyze over 7,100 submissions, which was substantially greater than the numbers typically received in an election year.
And how many analysts did you have in 2006?
I don't know the number offhand, but I can get that information for you.
Because it's my understanding that the department has generally had at least 25, and that, as I said, of the 25 experienced analysts, only 9 remain. So can you get that information to us, please?
I can get that.
How many the department has had, how many it has now, how many have any kind of experience longer than, say, 2 or 3 years?
I can get you whatever information we have, Congressman.
Thank you.